y'all. I'm going to be trying out this thing called ASMR. And the way I'm going to be starting out with it is by reading Shakespeare's Sonnets. So, I'm a big fan of Shakespeare, even though I haven't read too many of his plays or anything like that, but I'm at least a big fan of Hamlet. And, Romeo and Juliet is a classic, of course, too. Anyway, we are going to be reading Shakespeare's Sonnets. And I've got this neat little print here from the Fall River Press out of New York. And I believe I acquired this copy, from the noblest of barns. So yeah. There's a lot of sonnets in this. A lot. I don't remember how to read Roman numerals, but it gets up into the CL. The CLIs. So, we're just going to read some of those today. Don't judge me if I mispronounce some of these words. Alright, the first one. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory, but thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedest thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel, thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. Alright, let me get a hold on this page here for the second one. 2. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, were in all eating shame and thriftless praise, how much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be see thy blood warm when thou feelest it cold. Number 3. Look in thy glass, and tell the face thou viewest now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair, if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unblessome mother. For where is she so fair, whose uneared womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine age shalt see, despite of wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live, remember it not to be thy single, and thine image dies with thee. Alright, let's move on to number 4. Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing, but doth lend, and being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largess given to thee? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be doomed with thee, which used lose the executor to be. Alright, we can move on to 5. Number 4 was a little hard to pronounce. A little bit of some tongue twister action there. Alright, number 5. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to this very same, in that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, to hideous winter, and confounds him there. Sap checked with frost, and lusty leaves quite gone. Beauty o'ersnowed, and bareness everywhere. Then were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor it, nor no remembrance what it was, but flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, lease but their show, their substance still lives sweet. Number 6. happy's those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee. Or 10 times happier, be it 10 for one. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art. If 10 of thine times refigured thee, then what could death do, if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest, and make worms thine heir. I like that one a lot. Number 7. Lo, in the Orient, when the gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye doth homage to his new appearing sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty, and having climbed the steep up heavenly hill, resembling strong youth in his middle age, yet mortal looks adore his beauty still, attending on his golden pilgrimage. But when from highmost pitch his weary car, like feeble age, he reeleth from the day, the eyes for duteous now converted are from his low tract, and look another way. So thou, thyself outgoing in thy noon, unlooked, undiced, unless thou get a son. That one's new for me. Number 8. Music to hear. Why hearest thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets war not, joy delights in joy. Why lovest thou that which thou receivest not gladly? Or else receivest with pleasure thine annoy, in the true concord of well-tuned sounds, by unions married, do offend thine ear. They do but sweetly chide thee, who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst spare. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each and each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who, all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song, being many, seeming one, sings this to thee. Thou single wilt prove none. Number 9. Is it for fear to wed a widow's eye that thou consumest thyself in single life? Ah, if thou if thou issueless shalt hap to die, the world will wail thee like a makeless wife. The world will be thy widow, and still weep, that thou no form of thee hast left behind, when every private widow well may keep, but children's eyes are her husband's shape in mind. Oh, by children's eyes, her husband's shape in mind. Look, what an Look, what an unthrift in the world doth spend. Shifts but his place, for still the world's enjoy it. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and kept unused by the user so destroys it. No love toward others in that bosom sits, that on himself such murderous shame commits. Alright, number 10. For shame, deny that thou bearest love to any, who for thyself art so unprovident. Grant, if thou wilt, thou art beloved of many, but thou none lovest is most evident, for thou art so possessed with murderous hate, that gainst thyself thou stickest not to conspire, seeking that beauty's roof to ruinate, which to repair should by chief desire. Oh, change thy thought, that I may change my mind. Shall hate be fair lodged than gentle love? Be, as thy prescience is, gracious and kind, or to thyself at least kind-hearted prove. Make thee another self for love of me, that beauty still may live in thine or thee. Alright, let's do 5 more. Number 11. As fast as thou shalt wane, so fast thou growest in one of thine from that which thou departedst, and that fresh blood which youngly thou bestowest, thou mayst call thine when thou from youth covetest. Herein lies wisdom, beauty, and increase. Without this, folly, age, and cold decay. If all were minded so, the times should cease, and 80 years would make the world away. Let those whom nature hath not made for store, harsh, featureless, and rude, barrenly perish. Look, whom she best endowed, she gave the more, which bounteous gift thou shouldst in bounty cherish. She carved thee for her seal, and meant thereby thou shouldst print more, nor let the copy die. Alright, number 11. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see brave day sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past prime, in sable curls, all silvered o'er with white, when lofty trees I see barren of leaves, which erst from heat did canopy the herd, and summer's green all girded up in sheaves, borne on the bier with white and bristly beard. Then of thy beauty do I question make, that thou among the wastes of time must go, since sweet in beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see the others grow, and nothing against time's scythe can make defense, save breed to brave when he takes thee hence. Alright, number 13. Oh, that you were yourself, but love, you are no longer yours, then you yourself have live. Against this coming end you should prepare, in your sweet semblance to some other give. So should that beauty which you hold in lease find no determination, then you were yourself again after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue from sweet form should bear, who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honor might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day, in barren rage of death's eternal cold. Oh, none but unthrifts, dear my love, you know, you had a father, let your son say so. Not from the stars do I my judgment pluck, and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues or dearths or seasons' quality, nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each's thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princess if it shall go well, or say with princes if it shall go well, by oft predict that I in heaven find, but from thine eyes my knowledge I derive, and constant stars, in them I read such art as truth and beauty shall together drive, if from thyself to store thou wouldst convert, or else of thee this I prognosticate, thy end is truth's and beauty's doom and date. I like that one too. 15. When I consider everything that grows, holds in perfection but a little moment, that this huge state presenteth not but shows whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive that men as plants increase, cheered and checked in by the self-same sky, font in their youthful sap at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory, then the conceit of this inconstant stay, sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay, to change your day of youth to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you. As he takes from you, I engraft you new. Alrighty, y'all. That was the first 15 of Shakespeare's sonnets. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you're sleeping and you have to roll this back. As it is my first ASMR video, I would highly appreciate any and all feedback, negative or positive. If y'all enjoyed, I'll definitely keep making these. I've got plenty of different ideas for videos, so hopefully I can wrangle my brain together enough to make them happen. Anyways, I know my pronunciation was bad, and I don't remember the proper way to phrase out these sonnets, or like the way that Shakespeare writes, but I hope I got decent at some of these. Some of them I can feel the rhythm just as I'm reading, and some of them I feel totally lost, so hopefully that's not too apparent. Anyways, like and subscribe, and I will whisper to you guys later.